Have you ever had one of those months where you look at your bank account and think, I didn't even do anything this month? You didn't go on a trip. You didn't buy anything big. You didn't have an emergency. You just lived. And somehow the money's gone, like it evaporated. You're earning more than you ever have, and yet your savings look exactly the same as they did 6 months ago, maybe a year ago. And there's this nagging feeling in your gut that says something is wrong, but you can't point to what it is, because nothing feels wasteful in the moment. Everything feels reasonable. Every purchase makes sense when you're making it. That's because the thing that's killing your financial future isn't a big, obvious expense. It's not the vacation or the new laptop or the fancy dinner. It's the stuff you don't even see. The $11 here, the $34 there, the $89 that drafts out of your account every month that you forgot you signed up for. I call them money leaks. And the average person is losing between $5,000 and $12,000 a year to them without realizing it. Over a decade, that's not just lost money. That's a lost fortune. And today I'm going to show you exactly where those leaks are hiding and how to stop them before they steal another decade of wealth from you. My name is Max, and I want to help you learn how to make your money work more for you in your life. This channel is about understanding the mechanics behind the money, not guilt-tripping you about your latte, but actually showing you the invisible systems that are quietly draining your future. If that resonates, subscribe, because this is the kind of thing that saves you real money, not theoretical money. Okay, so here's the conventional approach to cutting spending that you've probably heard 1,000 times. Make a budget, track every purchase, find what you're wasting, and cut it. And if you've tried that, really tried it, you know the problem. It works for about 2 weeks, maybe a month if you're really motivated. And then life happens. You stop tracking and you're right back where you started, not because you're lazy. Because tracking every purchase is cognitively exhausting, and your brain eventually rebels against the effort. But here's what the budget approach gets fundamentally wrong. It treats all spending as equally visible, as if the problem is that you're consciously choosing to waste money, and you just need to be more aware. But that's not what's happening. Most of your money isn't leaving through conscious choices. It's leaving through automatic, invisible, recurring channels that were designed, literally engineered, to avoid your attention. Subscription companies, insurance providers, service bundlers, premium tiers you forgot you upgraded to. These businesses make money specifically because you don't notice the charge. Their entire business model depends on your inattention. The real approach isn't to track every dollar. It's to find and fix the leaks. And the difference is like the difference between mopping a wet floor every day and finding the pipe that's dripping. Let me explain what I mean with an analogy that makes this concrete. Imagine you have a bathtub and you're trying to fill it up. That bathtub is your savings. You turn on the faucet, that's your income. And you watch the water level rise. But it rises slower than it should. Way slower. You're pouring water in, but the level barely moves. And you can't figure out why. You turn the faucet up higher, you earn more, work overtime, take a side gig, and the level still barely moves. It's maddening. Then one day you get on your hands and knees and look underneath the tub, and you see them. 3 or 4 small holes in the bottom, not big enough to notice from above, not dramatic, but each one is steadily draining water out while you're pouring it in. You've been running the faucet harder and harder, trying to out-earn leaks you didn't even know existed, and no amount of income can fill a tub that's leaking from the bottom. That's what money leaks do. They sit below your line of awareness and silently drain wealth, while you exhaust yourself trying to earn more. And the moment you plug those holes, the bathtub starts filling, sometimes shockingly fast, because the same income that wasn't working before suddenly is. But here's where it gets really interesting. The reason you don't notice these leaks isn't because you're careless. It's because your brain is wired to ignore them. There's a well-documented phenomenon in behavioral economics called the pain of paying, studied extensively by researchers like Drazen Prelek and George Lowenstein. The basic idea is that the pain you feel when spending money varies dramatically depending on how you pay. Cash hurts the most. You physically hand over money and feel the loss. Credit cards hurt less. And automatic recurring charges, they barely register at all. Your brain processes the first charge when you sign up, and then essentially stops noticing every charge after that. The subscription company knows this. It's why free trials auto-convert. It's why cancellation processes are deliberately complicated. It's why the charge is $11.99 instead of $12 because your brain rounds down and dismisses it. Here's how insidious this gets. Research from West Virginia University found that 42% of people had forgotten about at least one active subscription they were paying for, not chose to keep, despite not using it. Forgot it existed entirely. Money leaving their account every month for a service they couldn't even name if you asked them. And the average person underestimates their total subscription spending by about 2.5 times. They think they're paying $80 a month. The real number is closer to $200. That gap between what you think you're spending and what you're actually spending is where the leaks live. And there's another psychological mechanism at play called the sunk cost fallacy, applied to subscriptions. Once you've been paying for something for a few months, your brain starts justifying it. Well, I might use it eventually, or I've already paid for it this long. Even when the rational move is to cancel immediately. You're not keeping the subscription because it's valuable. You're keeping it because canceling feels like admitting you wasted money, and your brain would rather keep wasting money than admit it already did. I know you might be thinking, okay, but we're talking about a few subscriptions here. How much can that really add up to? So let me show you the math, because this is where it gets genuinely shocking. The average American has about 12 paid subscriptions. Streaming services, music, apps, cloud storage, gym memberships, meal kits, software, delivery services. The average total is about $219 a month. Now, most people use maybe 4 or 5 of those regularly. The rest are ghosts. Services you signed up for, maybe used once or twice, and forgot about. Let's be conservative and say you have $120 a month in subscriptions you don't meaningfully use. That's $1,440 a year in pure leak. But subscriptions are just the most obvious category. Let's add the others. Convenience premiums. Paying for delivery when you could pick up. Paying for pre-made when you could prep. Paying for premium shipping you don't need. This one is sneaky because each individual charge feels tiny and justified. It's just $4.99 delivery. It's just $6 more for express. But those charges happen multiple times a week for some people. Conservatively, $80 a month. That's $960 a year. And you wouldn't describe any individual purchase as wasteful, which is exactly why it flies under the radar. Insurance overpayment. Most people never shop their car insurance, renter's insurance, or phone insurance after the initial purchase. The average person overpays by about $50 to $100 a month compared to what they get with a 30-minute comparison. Let's call it $75. That's $900 a year. Bank fees and interest, overdraft fees, maintenance fees on checking accounts that should be free, credit card interest on balances you could pay down strategically. Average $40 a month. That's $480 a year. Unused memberships and services, the gym you go to twice a month at $55, the warehouse club membership you barely use, the professional subscription you needed once for a project, let's say $60 a month. That's $720 a year. Add it all up. $120 plus $80 plus $75 plus $40 plus $60. That's $375 a month. $4,500 a year. In total leaks that you don't notice, don't enjoy, and wouldn't miss if they were gone. Now here's where it gets painful. That $375 a month invested in an index fund at 8% annual returns would be worth about $22,300 in 5 years, about $69,000 in 10 years, and in 20 years, sit with this number for a second, roughly $222,000, $250,000, from money that was draining out of your bathtub while you weren't looking. Now, you might be thinking, okay, but I can't actually reclaim all $375. And you're right. Some of those categories might not apply to you, or the amounts might be different. even if you recaptured half, and $187 a month. That's still over $110,000 in 20 years. And the effort to reclaim it is an ongoing discipline. It's a one-time audit. A few hours of work that keeps paying you back, silently, every single month for the rest of your life. And this is the part most people miss. Plugging money leaks isn't just about saving money. It's about becoming the kind of person who pays attention. And that identity shift is worth more than the dollars themselves. Because the person who audits their subscriptions once is the person who starts noticing overcharges on their phone bill, who renegotiates their car insurance, who reads the fine print before signing up for the free trial, who starts asking, before every recurring charge, is this worth what it costs me? Not just this month, but over the next 10 years? That question, what does this cost me over 10 years? Is the most powerful financial question you can learn to ask. Because it reframes every small, invisible expense as what it actually is. A long-term decision with compounding consequences. The $55 gym membership you barely use isn't a $55 decision. It's a $13,000 decision over 20 years when you account for what that money could have earned if invested. And here's what's interesting. This lens doesn't make you cheap. It makes you intentional. The person who sees real costs doesn't stop spending money. They start spending it on things that actually matter to them. They keep the gym membership. They use 5 days a week because health is worth $55 a month. They cancel the one they visit twice a month and redirect that money towards something with a real return. The goal isn't to spend less. It's to stop spending on autopilot and start spending on purpose. Once you start seeing the world through that lens, your relationship with spending changes permanently, not through deprivation, through clarity. You're probably wondering what this looks like in real life beyond just the numbers. So let me show you. You plug $375 a month in leaks and redirect it to investments. After 1 year, you've got about $4,700. Your car needs new brakes, $600. Before, this would have gone on a credit card. Now you absorb it from savings, rebuild in 2 months, and carry zero debt from the event. The leak money became your shield. After 2 years, you've got about $10,200. A job opportunity opens up in a different city. Moving costs $3,000. Before, you couldn't afford the transition. Now you can. You take the job, it pays $8,000 more per year, and that income increase accelerates everything. After 3 years, you're at about $16,500. A friend invites you into a small investment opportunity. A local business, a rental property, something with real upside. You have the capital to participate. Before the audit, that money was paying for streaming services you watched once a month. After 5 years, you're at $22,300. Your emergency fund is solid, your investments are growing, and the financial stress that used to keep you up at night has been replaced by a quiet confidence that everything is handled. And that confidence changes your career in ways that are hard to overstate. When you're not leaking money, you're not just saving more. You're operating from a position of growing strength, and that shows up at work in ways you wouldn't expect. You negotiate from security, not scarcity. You make career decisions based on growth potential, not immediate survival. You don't tolerate bad situations because you feel trapped. And perhaps most importantly, you stop accepting the first offer on everything. Job offers, service contracts, insurance renewals, because you have the financial margin to walk away and find something better. That willingness to walk away is worth thousands of dollars a year in better deals alone. There's a compounding loop here that's worth naming explicitly. Plugging leaks gives you surplus. Surplus gives you savings. Savings give you security. Security gives you confidence. Confidence makes you better at your job. Being better gets you promoted and paid more. More pay creates more surplus, and the cycle accelerates. All because you spent a few hours one Saturday canceling subscriptions and renegotiating bills. The return on investment of that Saturday is honestly incalculable. And now, I need to warn you about something because there's a mistake that trips people up right after they do the audit. You find the leaks, you plug them, you feel amazing, like you just gave yourself a raise. And then, within a month or two, new leaks start forming because the same psychological mechanisms that created the first leaks, the painless recurring charge, the I might use it rationalization, the free trial you forgot to cancel, are still operating. If you don't build a system to prevent new leaks, you'll be right back where you started within 6 months. The system is simple. Once a quarter, 4 times a year, you do a 15-minute leak check. Pull up your bank statement. Scan every recurring charge. Ask one question for each. If I weren't already paying for this, would I sign up for it today at this price? If the answer is no, cancel it. That's it. 15 minutes, 4 times a year, 1 hour total per year that protects the $4,500 or more you recaptured. I call this the resubscribe test because it flips the default. Instead of asking, should I cancel, which triggers loss aversion and makes your brain fight to keep the subscription, you ask, would I actively choose to buy this right now? That reframe bypasses the sunk cost fallacy entirely. You're not losing something. You're deciding whether to gain it. And when you frame it that way, most ghost subscriptions fail the test immediately. And here's one more tactical move that makes a massive difference. When you cancel a subscription or reduce an expense, don't let the freed up money sit in your checking account. It'll get absorbed by Parkinson's law. Spending expands to fill available income. Instead, increase your automated investment transfer by the exact amount you saved. Found $40 in a subscription you canceled? Your monthly investment goes up by $40 that same day. The money goes from leaking out the bottom of the tub to being redirected into the faucet. That's not just plugging a hole. It's increasing the flow. That's not sacrifice. That's optimization. You didn't cut your lifestyle. You cut the fat your lifestyle didn't even need. So here's where I want to leave you. You don't need to earn more money. You might already earn enough. The problem for a lot of people isn't the faucet. It's the holes. And the cruelest part about money leaks is that they're designed to be invisible. Entire industries are built on the assumption that you won't notice, won't check, won't cancel. And every month you don't, they win and your future self loses. But it doesn't take a lifestyle overhaul to fix this. It takes one Saturday afternoon, pull up your statements, identify the charges that don't serve you, cancel them, renegotiate the ones that are overpriced, and redirect every dollar you free up into an investment that compounds in your favor instead of against it. That's it. A few hours now, for potentially hundreds of thousands of dollars later. The math is absurd. The effort is minimal. And the only thing standing between you and a completely different financial trajectory is the willingness to look at where your money has actually been going. Most people never look. Not because they don't care, but because looking feels uncomfortable. It means confronting the gap between what you think you spend and what you actually spend. But I promise you that discomfort lasts about 30 minutes, and the financial clarity it creates lasts forever. So look, this weekend, before the next charge drafts, because your future self is counting on you to find the leaks that your past self didn't know existed, and once you plug them, you'll wonder how you ever let them run.